Hi, my name is Gurraj, and I'm the founder and CEO of Square Circle. At Square Circle, we have made a conscious decision to help organizations focus on belonging.
Hi, I'm Robin Eckersley. I'm Chief Learning Officer over at Square Circle, and my role is to understand and design solutions that effectively develop and support employees holistically as human beings first, so that they can be authentically present, engaged, and committed to their professional journeys.
So, we are thrilled to bring to you the next installment of the Square Circle Belong series, where we are in conversation with thought leaders and pioneers in the areas of diversity, inclusion, belonging, and social justice from all over the world. Today, I'm super excited to bring to you a very special guest, Jenny Fay, who is Las Vegas's city director for the Cupcake Girls, an amazing organization whose mission is to provide confidential support to those involved in the sex industry, as well as trauma-informed outreach, intensive case management, holistic resources, and referral services to provide prevention and aftercare to those affected by sex trafficking. Now, Jenny has been working in the Las Vegas community for over 17 years with a heart to empower women and a desire to activate volunteers. And she has been the Las Vegas city director for the Cupcake Girl for the past 2 years, helping provide aftercare for sex trafficking survivors and non-judgmental support to folks in the adult industry. Jenny believes in dignity of all humans and hopes that her life and her work inspires others to see intrinsic value in all people. Jenny, thank you for everything that you do, and thank you for being here today. We're just so excited to get to know you, get to know your work, and learn as much as we can from you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to share more about the Cupcake Girls and who we are and what we do and how other folks can be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, Jenny, just tell us about the Cupcake Girls. Tell us how it all began.
So the Cupcake Girls has officially been in existence for 9 years, but our story starts before that. Our CEO and founder, Joy Hoover, she and her husband are actually originally from Michigan, and they came to Vegas in late 2009 on a trip. But they're activist people with big hearts. And so even just, when they were away on a trip, they couldn't help but look around and see who's being left out, who doesn't have access to what they need, who's being pushed aside. And they said it became really evident that there was a very large adult industry here, but there seemed like there's a lot of barriers to resources because of the stigma surrounding that, as well as then the trafficking piece of some folks who were doing it who didn't want to be doing it. But Joy said also, she was like, but then our trip ended, like that's what happens, you go home. But she said they couldn't shake what they had seen. And so by early 2010, they sold pretty much everything that they owned and drove out to Vegas. And Joy said for that first year, they ate so much ramen noodles because that's what they could afford. And she spent that first year just getting to know folks in the adult industry and hearing their stories, understanding their experiences, and hearing what their needs were and their desires were and how they would want someone to help meet those needs. She said it was really important to her to not be the kind of person or create the kind of group that would go in and be like, oh, this is your problem and here's how I'm going to fix it. But instead, just to listen well for what people were wanting. And so after about a year of that, she said it became pretty evident we needed an official organization to be able to serve people well. And so that's when in 2011, early 2011, the Cupcake Girls was officially born, a non-religious, non-political nonprofit. She said too that Joy said when it came time to file our paperwork, she agonized over what to call the organization. Because, if you have ever had to name a team, a company, anything, there's so much pressure on what do you name it. But finally her husband, Phil, turned to her one day, who he's a co-founder as well. And he just said, what do the workers say every time you show up? And she said, oh, well, they say our Cupcake Girls are here. And Phil said, I think you're already the Cupcake Girls. Just be the Cupcake Girls. So we're the Cupcake Girls, named by our clients because that's how they know us. And then by late 2011, we also opened a branch in Portland to be able to serve folks there because Portland has the highest per capita number of strip clubs of any city in the US. So it seemed appropriate that we would start out in Vegas and in Portland. Yeah, so that's kind of how we got our start. Sorry, that was probably more than you were looking for.
No, that's great. Jenny, can you actually tell us the significance of cupcakes for people who don't know? How do cupcakes feature in the work that you do? Yeah.
The reason why the workers all said our Cupcake Girls are here is because when we do outreach into the strip clubs and legal brothels like we do every month when we're not in quarantine, we take in boxes of hot pink cupcakes and our resource cards just to be able to create that connection with folks. Our hope is we can offer a sweet treat, one human to another, and just start a non-threatening conversation to say, we are here if we can help in any way. And then when folks do reach out, they're able to choose from our two advocacy programs. One's our referral program, maybe for clients that just have one or two specific needs that they need to connect with a resource. And the other is our intensive case management program. That's for clients who want an ongoing relationship with their advocate, and they meet regularly and collaborate on where the client wants to go and how to get there, creating steps, creating goals, tapping into a lot of our partners in the community who are individuals, businesses, or organizations that are usually offering their services for free or low cost for our clients.
Yeah, and Jenny, I know I've had the privilege of working in partnership with you and the Cupcake Girls here in the Las Vegas location. And I understand that the work that you and your colleagues do has really intensified since COVID-19 has swept through. And I'm sure it's had not just an effect on your work schedule, but your probably mental and emotional space as well. So, before we go even further in this conversation, how are you doing? And is there anything specific that you're doing to help manage your own well-being? Because I think, especially for folks who are in the supporter role, whether it's personally or professionally, a lot of times, they're left without knowing, how to be taking care of themselves when their, reason for getting out of bed in the morning is to help other people and make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Because for us, we saw, there was about a 2-week time span where we saw about a 300% increase in folks reaching out to us. All of this while we were trying to shift to virtual, because we also realized we can't just close our doors. There are folks in need. We need to figure out how to serve them well. So this increase of need, pivoting, we felt like every day we were just pivoting right and left, and it's tiring. It's interesting because I was talking to a friend not too long ago and just talking about the whole work from home thing, where she reminded me, she said, but it's not just that people are working from home. We are working from home in the middle of a global pandemic, and there is an added level of stress. That's not normal work from home time. And so we at the Cupcake Girls and myself, we've tried to be really intentional about self-care, because if our whole goal is to be able to serve our clients well, if we're burned out, we're no good to anybody. And so we want to take care of ourselves and intentionally do what we need to do so that we have full tanks and are ready to serve others. And so like for me, I have some like daily spiritual practices that I engage in that are really life-giving to me. I've tried to get really intentional about what my work schedule is and tried to have like a pretty clear, this is my knockoff time at the end of the evening. And yeah, I'm available for, crises or emergencies or things like that, but it's not just an ever stream of work that's happening. Even to like our staff, we're coordinating to do more like, okay, which staff members on call this weekend, who's off this weekend? Because we were noticing, and maybe you've noticed this too, sometimes when you work from home, well, when you're home, then you're not necessarily off.
Yeah.
So we were finding that on our weekends of like, I'm off, but also I'm still working on a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to be really intentional of saying I'm unplugging and I feel okay unplugging because I've asked this person to make sure that they're available for the things that do come up. Because again, our clients are why we exist. So we want to be available for them, but can we do it in a way to where all of us gets a chance to catch a breath so that then we're ready to jump back in?
I love that. I love that you're being very intentional about your boundaries, and that collectively as an organization, you're actively helping one another also create those boundaries and put self-care at the forefront of your day and your work schedule, basically. Because you're right. If we burn out,
Yes.
we are no good to anyone.
Yes. And it's so interesting. One of the first weeks that I started really implementing, like, okay, I'm going to try to knock off at a normal time. And it got to Thursday night after I had been doing that. And about 9 o'clock, myself and some of our other team members started needing to jump on a call to coordinate care for a client of ours, sex trafficking survivor, trans individual that identifies as female, who had no place to go, no place to sleep that night, was not feeling safe at all, and coordinated, got it situated, got her to a hotel anyway, but it took a few hours. And I remember it like distinctly thinking to myself, I am so glad that I was not coming into this emergency on empty, but instead I was fine. So it was fine that I didn't, get back home until midnight that night, because I knew I had recharged and I knew I had time in my schedule to recharge after that.
Beautiful, beautiful. It makes all the difference. Good for you for enforcing those boundaries for yourself. So let's take a look. Earlier, when we were talking about the work that the Cupcake Girls does, you mentioned that there's a stigma. Now, the sex industry is a highly stigmatized one, and it's easy for folks to just come up with blanket assumptions and labels. So what's important for our viewers to know about the sex worker community?
One of the things that we've seen and experienced with our clients is that every person is unique. Everyone has their own story, their own situation, their own experiences, and their own motivators. And I think we do a disservice to people when we make assumptions about anything to do with anyone. We see clients all along the spectrum of why and how they do or did sex work. We see some folks who are in the sex industry and want to be doing sex work. We see some people who are doing more what we call survival sex work. They don't necessarily want to be doing it, might not feel comfortable doing it, but feel like it's the only thing they can do to provide for themselves and often their families. And we see clients who are sex trafficking survivors. They didn't choose this. They didn't want this. Someone else forced it. And we see everything in between. And we see a lot of times too with our clients that perspective isn't static. It's not like, well, this is my perspective and that's always what it is. We had a client who was a dancer, chose to be a dancer, wanted to be a dancer, and then met this guy who seemed so nice. And not long into their relationship, he got super aggressive with her one night after she finished working and said, "How much money did you make?" And she kind of like tried to blow him off and was like, "None of your business." And he really got aggressive and in her face and said, "I said, how much did you make?" And so she got scared and told him, and he said, "From now on, you're going to give me every penny that you make." Well, in an instant, now it doesn't matter whether or not she wants to be doing that. It's not her choice anymore, and someone else is in control of her finances. And for us at the Cupcake Girls, the way that we define sex trafficking is anyone who's in the adult industry under coercion, deception, manipulation, or threat, and they're not in control of their wages. So that client's situation took a hard turn and her perspective changed. We had another client though, who she was trafficked for multiple years, tried multiple times to escape her trafficker, and ultimately was able to escape after like 5 months of planning. And she went and worked in the legal brothels, got her feet back underneath her, got her finances in a place where she could pursue some other things in her life that she wanted to do. But again, that perspective it might change. And I think that we need to let people reserve the right to have their perspective be what their perspective is based on their experiences, and not to assume what it is. But I think for what I've seen with our clients, and I think probably this is true for all humans, a lot of times if maybe we just ask a few more questions, lead with curiosity, to get to know a little bit more about who someone is, what they're saying, why they're saying it, that could go a long way in helping us really understand someone.
Mm.
Yeah, I think, Jenny, what you've said there is so profound on multiple levels, regardless of the type of work that you do, which is not going and assuming anything. And you know, even if they have chosen to do that, giving them a place where they belong, where they can have their
Yeah.
financial freedom, where they can thrive, regardless of what they've chosen to do. Right? I think that's such a important lesson in listening, in offering each and every individual's respect. Um,
Yes.
I think, earlier when you were talking about specifically this pandemic and how it's affected your industry, and you're sort of seeing an uptick in a way, um, with every client, I know that's part of, probably a huge part of your work, which is going to them, building that trust, building that respect, building a relationship with them, and then getting them to where they want to be, right?
Mhm.
Um, I'm just curious that during this time of COVID, how are you reaching out to new clients, and how are you able to build this trust during these times?
It's definitely different because, like I mentioned, when it's not quarantine, well, we do monthly outreach into strip clubs and legal brothels with our cupcakes to, again, just create awareness. We're here, want to help in any way we can. One of the things that we did in Vegas the day before everything shut down,
Mhm.
a member of our outreach team, our lead, actually gathered up just like some of our resource cards and some lashes and some just info, and stopped by a few of the clubs that hadn't closed down yet, just to make sure, even as they were closing, that people knew we're here. If you need anything, please know that you can reach out. And honestly, right now, our biggest way to connect with potential clients is through personal referrals of, someone who has experienced our services or knows about us and tells a friend about it. But also social media right now is our biggest way. So we're trying to be really intentional about posting regularly so that people see us, get to know us. On the weekends, we've been posting client stories just to kind of highlight some of the folks that we've been able to link arms with. And hopefully too, maybe potential clients could read that and get an idea of some of the things that we're able to offer. And maybe too, as they read client stories or see how we've interacted with other clients, and again, the type of respect that we have for people in general, but especially for our clients, that maybe that helps build some of that relationship, that even though it can't be face to face, that starts happening. During the week, we've been doing Instagram lives. We're calling the series Cultivating a Community Where You Belong. And that's a way too for people to interact with us through social media. It might not be face to face, but they do get to see our faces. They get to meet some of our partners that if they reach out to us, they might be going and visiting those very partners, or just understanding a little bit better who we are. And it's a chance for us every day, all throughout those Instagram lives, to continue putting out little messages of reminders. Hey, if you are working or have worked in the adult industry and you need support, please reach out. Here's how you can do that.
What is it about? So, speaking of social media, Jenny, both Robin and I are huge fans. We follow the Cupcake Girls, and we are aware of these Instagram live community gatherings that you do. It's so interesting because I think we're all sort of zooming in on this concept called belonging, right? Fostering a sense of belonging.
Yes.
And why do you think that's so important? Because a lot of the work, perhaps like you said, is very individual, and a lot of them don't get to meet each other. They don't get to know of
Mhm.
you and your resources. But what is it about belonging in that community that you know makes them come back, or makes this Instagram live community that you've created a success, if you will.
Well, I think, I mean, and you all know, belonging is such a critical need that we have as humans. So often, we've heard clients say, I feel so alone, or I felt so alone. And for people to know they're not alone, even though it might feel like they are. One of the reasons why a lot of times we do every year, we do a peer-to-peer fundraiser, which is a bunch of normal people giving normal amounts to be able to support our clients. But it's because there's a bunch of people. So we're able to say to our clients, hey, you might feel really alone right now, but I want you to know there are literally thousands of people who have given this year to support you and cheer you on. And like, we as the Cupcake Girls, one of the big projects that we're working on is this building called Local for All. And it's going to include our resource center and our social impact food hall, a place where our clients can come and get more services all under one roof, but also the social impact food hall side, a place where the community can come and they can grab a cupcake, grab lunch, knowing that the money that they spend there goes to help provide services for our clients. And the tagline for that project, that space, is "You belong here," because people need to belong. But that building's under construction, and even if it was finished, we're in quarantine. And so it's really easy to feel very alone. And one of the cool things that we've seen through these Instagram lives is that we've seen all of these different people coming together. We see our clients jumping on and watching. We see our volunteers jumping on and watching, our partners, community members. And we see everybody just interacting, not because of their role with our organization, but just as humans. And for me, one of the things that I've seen is like this deeper sense of belonging that people have, because we just all, like today, one of our Instagram lives, one of our therapist partners was talking about anxiety and had the toll that takes on your body and some things to do. But for all of, again, just to be like, I'm a human and I feel anxious sometimes and it does wreak havoc on my body. And what do I do? And then for other people to be able to go, me too, me too. It's this, oh, I'm not alone in feeling this. I'm not alone in watching this. I'm not alone. Maybe I do.
Um, as you were talking, I think the thing that was sort of like just screaming in my brain is like the way you're so beautifully threading humanity, and giving them this physical space to come and be together, regardless of what they do for a living or whatever it is. Through this very beautiful thing, like just serving them cupcakes. I mean, who doesn't like cupcakes and chocolate, right? Who doesn't? But using that as a metaphor to help humans realize that there's something beyond. There's a level of respect. There's a level of humanity that's so important in today's world, and to afford that to the community that you're so part of, um, that's just brilliant, Jenny. That's just something that I think everybody needs to hear and everybody needs to sort of understand. So
Absolutely.
I want to visit that building. I don't know when that'll be ready, but but sign us up.
Okay, I mean, you're in. It's done. But we realize, like I've said, that belonging is such a need for humans. And so creating this space is important to us, but we do hope that it catches like wildfire. That, when we say we want to create this safe and inclusive space where everyone belongs, that other people would see that and go, yes, yes, I can be a part of that. Yes, I can help make that spread in our community.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. And it's so amazing because it's one thing to do the amazing work to serve the clients directly and say, hey, we're going to provide a space that's a physical space and a virtual space while we're waiting on the physical space for everyone to find a place where they belong. And in doing so, you're not just serving the people, serving your clients, you're also serving as a role model for other organizations to say, hey, this is a universal human need. Yeah. What can I do to create a sense of belonging for my clients and for my community as well. So it's like, in the good work that is already amazing in what you do, the ripple effects that come out of that are just, you will never know, you never know the true extent of the reach that you have. But oh my gosh, this has been such an enlightening conversation. Thank you so much, Jenny. I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot from you today. I know we have, Seema and I. You and the Cupcake Girls organization as a whole, you do such courageous and life-changing work. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us and the audience. Now, is there anything that our audience can do to help support your work?
Yes, 100%. So our three main drivers for being able to care for our clients are our volunteers who donate their time. Even now, we're all quarantined, but even now, our volunteer teams are still hard at it. Their roles might look a little bit different from how they look in non-quarantine times, but they're still hard at work. So volunteers, our partners like Robin, who offer their services for free or low cost to our clients, and our donors who offer their finances. It takes money to make cupcakes, to provide a space where clients can come, to have internet, to be able to meet with clients, to give out grants. I mean, just in the last, like, since COVID has started, we've connected our clients to, I want to say, like over $30,000 worth of resources for like rental assistance and utilities and other needs like that. So all of us coming together and bringing what we have, like I said, if it's time or a service or finances, that can make an incredible difference to our clients. And on our website, there's a tab about getting involved for people who are interested in volunteering. People who are interested in partnering can just kind of reach out and contact us, and we'll be in touch. And for donors, we're always looking for folks to be like give one-time gifts. Like those stimulus checks are coming out, and I know from people in my life that there are sometimes folks in my life who are like, I don't really need all of this, and they're looking to make a difference. So people can donate a portion of that. People can become monthly givers at as little as $10 a month. Really makes a huge difference for our clients. People can give in-kind gifts. Grocery store gift cards are a big one right now. For us to be able to send those in the mail to our clients, they're flat, they mail well. It helps us provide for our clients, but in a way that's really empowering. We use an empowerment model, so we don't tell people what to do. We give them tools, sometimes help them discover tools that they've had all along and cheer them on. But when you give somebody a gift card rather than just handing them a bag of groceries, it can really return autonomy. And for our clients who've experienced trauma and felt like they didn't have any power or any say in what happened, now they feel like, now I get to decide, what does my family want to eat? What do I want to eat? That there's a dignity that happens in that. So, that was a long answer to be able to say, if you want to send grocery store gift cards, they really do have a significant impact on our clients and meeting their needs in a very dignified way.
So a couple of questions around that, Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
So with regards to volunteers, are you particular about the geography? Do they have to be in particular areas, or can we volunteer?
For right now, we do try and keep it with our volunteers being in the cities where we have locations, which right now is Portland and Vegas.
Okay.
For the most part, that's what we do try to do. For folks who aren't in Vegas or Portland, definitely, donating is super helpful, but also being really engaged with our social media. I don't know if you've heard the term algorithm tossed around with social media. It's kind of one of those things of the more people that look at your post, the more people that post becomes available for. And for us, like I was saying, a lot of our potential clients are connecting with us through social media. So the more we can be seen, the more that expands the possibilities of people that can know we're here for them. So even somebody in Northern California could follow us, like, comment, all of that, and might actually open the door for a potential client to connect with us who's in need.
Absolutely. Well said. with the financial donation piece, so a lot of organizations offer matching donations.
Hmm.
So are you equipped for that? Like, we want to get the word out. Are you?
Um, right now, until May 26th through Giving Tuesday now, we're on their site and they're actually matching donations that come in. Also, if there are folks who just say, I'd like to set up my donation as a match, we're definitely equipped to do that. Also, as an aside, sorry, Amazon. If you shop on Amazon, you can set us up as your charity.
Okay,
Mm,
that's good. I think we'll put a link to all these wonderful
Perfect.
resources and ways for people to get involved with you.
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Wow. I mean, thank you for making a difference. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for teaching us valuable lessons today in respect, dignity, and how we can continue to sort of evolve as an inclusive society to support each other. This has just been one of those conversations I think that's going to carry us for a long time, Jenny. So we appreciate your time and we look forward to staying in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jenny. We wish you the best of luck. Stay safe and healthy and give our best to your team in going out and doing the good work that you do. Thank you so much.
Okay.